What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And I figured what better way to start out two videos for this weekend. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I realized on the last video I didn't really explain much on how the exhaust is going to work. So we're actually going to unbox it, piece it out on this table, and kind of show y'all the idea that I have for making this exhaust. If anybody's worked on third gens before, it's just one of them cars, F-bodies in general. It's hard to put dual exhaust underneath them. There's not a bunch of companies out there making dual exhaust kits for F-bodies. So this is a cheap, affordable way to put a dual exhaust on your car if you have a welder and a rack. This is not going to be the video for where we're going to be putting it underneath the car. We're just going to bench build it and kind of give you an idea of what the exhaust is going to be laid out as. So I hope y'all guys enjoy. We're going to jump right into it. Lowered you down so I can kind of show y'all what we're going to start out with. And it's going to be this X pipe. I'm going to move this off to the side. But so this is what you're going to start out with. This is your X pipe. And then you're going to have your two extension pieces, which are going to be these pieces right here. So, and this is all 2.5-inch pipe. We're just going to slot it together like this. So that's one piece. All right, so this is going to be your header side. Headers coming down into these pipes right here. And then these are going to be, I guess you can call them cutouts. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do some cutouts, and then I'm going to run pipes off to the side. And I'm actually thinking about buying a set of boom tube because I'm wanting to really go NASCAR style exhaust with this, but with a twist. Because NASCAR, the way they did theirs was, it was usually both headers come into one like square squished tubing and went out to one side. And that was just because these cars, NASCAR, sat so low to the ground, they needed an exhaust that would efficiently get all the air out of the motor and also be low enough that it wouldn't scrape the ground. So that's where this kind of started, was trying to figure out how I could get this exhaust as high up as possible. And I wish I could have got some square tubing bent for this car, but there's, like I said, there's not a bunch of companies, and I don't have a bender and all this. So this is what I found, and this was very, very cheap. This was, like I said in the last video, I put a link to it. I'll put a link to it in this video. It was, I believe, like $175 just for this kit, and there's still more in here. So you have these two extension pieces, and these are going to be your ends pretty much. So I'm not going to really connect these all the way. I guess I can. I think this one got damaged a little bit and needs some. We're not going to slide that in there because it needs to be ground out a little bit. But this will give you an idea of your exit. So this is the whole setup for what we're kind of looking for. And like I said, you will have a secondary set of pipes coming off of here, going towards the rear part of the tire, or the front part of the tires, and that will be my boom tube exhaust for like a NASCAR style. And I will have electric shutoffs where if I don't want the side pipes, I just shut them off, and it will pretty much engage this X pipe, and we'll have some small mufflers on the back side, and it'll quiet it down. Because yes, I like the loud exhaust, but it does get very annoying and it drowns out in the car. And if you're on like a long cruise, or if you're doing something you don't want to really hear the loud noise, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for best of the both worlds. I want loud and obnoxious, but I also do want that cruisability factor where I can actually take this car out and I don't have to worry about cops pulling me over. Because there's been a couple times I've drove this car and I passed a cop and I'm like neutral, cruise to a little bit of a stop, So for setup wise, it should be pretty easy, just building a set of exhaust pipes to come off and go up to the headers. And then off the back here, we will be putting some, not like quiet mufflers, but some just like, I guess you call them like a cherry bomb muffler or something like that. Where the loudness will come from will be from right here. So this will cut off and come to the back of the car and will exit. Let me show y'all real quick. So we'll exit down here at the bottom of the car right here, and we will be getting rid of the back exit exhaust from the factory. But once again, the only reason that I'm getting rid of this back exit exhaust is because of how low it sits to the ground. And it's a good exhaust. It was a little expensive for what, you know, I had to do with it. It was not set up for what I was wanting to do with it, with the different headers, and also being frame extensions on this car. I couldn't really run it where I wanted. So, and it ended up being way too low to the ground. So I'll show y'all underneath the car, and it's not bad. It's just going to drag the ground everywhere I go when I lower the car. So that's the front part of the headers. I got it up pretty high, but where it gets low is right here where the X pipe is, and it's partly because I gotta get a new cross member for the transmission. But I have frame extensions, so that's another thing I've got to figure out too. I may have to notch a little bit right here for the boom tube exhaust to come out. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I ain't gonna do none of that. But yeah, that's the exhaust I have on here now. And we will be getting rid of that exhaust and putting something a little bit different on it. You've seen it. But for right now, what we're actually gonna do is I would like to give y'all a cold start so y'all have a reference on what this car sounds like now versus when we do start on this. The only thing we're waiting on is my buddy to get done with his rack, which this would be easier to do on a rack if I have the opportunity to do it on a rack. I would love that. But if not, I will do it here in the garage on jack stands. I mean, I literally built that whole exhaust kit in this garage on jack stands. I didn't really build the whole exhaust kit, but I did build the front part of it to the X pipe. And then everything else was all connectors, pretty much the V-band clamps. So right now we're going to give you a cold start, and I hope y'all enjoy. So one of the good things about this car being EFI is you don't have to touch the gas any. It automatically does all its fuel injection stuff in there. All right, and it's pretty, I mean, it's not cold, but it's sitting at 68 degrees. But that noise that we were talking about, it's not too loud. You can hear it a little bit in the video. That's why I'm thinking it's an exhaust leak, because you don't really hear it right now. Yeah, I mean, like, I literally can't even hear it right now. But guys, it's about to start raining and this car don't have a hood on it. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and like always, we'll see you next time.